excitement for Camp Cretaceous continues. This time I'll be reviewing episodes 2, 3, and 4.
Hey, how you doing, little mama? Let me whisper in your ear.
In episode 2, everyone emerges from the cave. Apparently they slept there during the night because when they emerged from the cave, it was morning. One thing I love about this episode is there's so much character development. They come out from the beach and immediately they're in a desert biome, which is very bizarre. Ben spots something in the distance. He says there's a big metal thing in the distance, and although the other friends are a little bit skeptical about traversing this dangerous, long, deserted area, he can't help but feel that if there is something that's artificially made, it only stands to reason that there might be other people there. He tries to encourage them, telling them that, look, at least there's no dinosaurs on the island. We survived worse than this in Isla Nublar. One thing I gotta say though, they all got washed up by the ocean. Why are they all still dirty and have the same exact dirt mud marks from Isla Nublar, having been doused in water several times? I don't understand that. That stowaway compy is still with them. And getting to see this compy up close, my goodness, what a beautiful specimen. He has become like our little mascot for the boat. I wonder what we should name you. Let's call you Millibite, because, you know, 100 several bites and then you kill people, whatever. Or Little Bite, there we go, Little Bite. I love Little Bite, and I like that we get to see him in this desert backdrop. This is an amazing background. You can't see all of it because I have it cropped, but here's an actual picture. Isn't that beautiful, you guys? Isn't that spectacular? Wow, such a beautiful creature. Oh my gosh, the compies are so beautiful. You don't really notice how beautiful they are because you never really see them exactly up close, and you're never really focused on any one, but I always love their green tree frog-like color. Anyway, as they're continuing, you can tell that they are definitely pushing for the Brooklyn and Kenji thing. Kenji is acting hella awkward around Brooke. It's very obvious that he has feelings for her, and he gets super weird, and there was one part, I never usually get a chuckle out of these things, but I got so thrown off guard by it because of how naturally sounding it was that I actually audibly chuckled.
Oh, maybe we were abducted by aliens.
Because that makes perfect sense.
No, that'd be dumb. It's dumb. Never mind. What? No, you shut up.
Brooke's face. Like, bro, you good? That. Oh my god, I feel secondhand embarrassment. Why am I blushing? I think because I can totally relate. I've done stuff like that, especially when I like someone, and I will not tell them, or at least when I was much shyer, I wouldn't tell them. And I straight up embarrassed myself, and you end up arguing with yourself. It's like, you think the person says something that they're not actually saying, and then you're like, yeah, I know, right? No, you stop. And the person hasn't said a word to you. It's so embarrassing. Oh my god. I feel you, Kenji. Of course, no one has any water on this desert. Then they have to elude a sandstorm. Ben tells everyone to run. And I actually like that when they're running, they get overtaken by the sandstorm. You can hear them audibly coughing. Feels like they're actually getting caught in a sandstorm. And it's so realistic. The physics of it when they get overtaken by it, it feels real. I like that. Now, obviously, in a situation like this, you'd be coughing up a storm, but right now, the group is trying to find each other and they're trying to reconnect. Visibility is really low, and Kenji ends up bucking into Brooke. They hug each other and try to find the others. In doing so, they drop into, like, this, I guess, ravine area, and holy shit, do they play this thing up to the freaking max. I ended up looking around the room to like meet somebody else's gaze. No one else was in the room with me. I was watching this alone. I don't know why. It was hella awkward. And it's like, okay, are we in the Hunger Games? Are you guys throwing these kids on top of each other?
Ow!
You see? You see what I mean? Like, seriously though, somebody had a point. Where did this come from all of a sudden? I thought she liked Darius. But I did try to explain it in the last video about why she may have changed. Maybe she was starting to like Darius, but because Kenji was more protective and assumed the Chad alpha mode and the more mature guy, she was like, you know what, I can dig it. You know what would be messed up though? Because I know that there's some chicks that would do this. It would be hella messed up if Brooke was like, yeah, Darius, don't come back for me, okay? Just save the group. Just do what I say. It's okay, Darius. And she doesn't get mad at him for doing that. He does exactly what she said, because Darius is the kind of person who thinks logically. Kenji's a little bit more emotionally driven. He strikes me as an ESFP. Darius is more on the ENTP INFJ side, and he did what Brooklyn asked him to do. And then Brooklyn's probably thinking, bitch, I can't get mad at him because I asked him to do that. But what I actually wanted you to do was ride in on a white horse and save me anyway. And since Kenji wanted to do that, that's why she probably likes Kenji. It's like those girls who are like, no, leave me alone when they're not feeling well, or you've upset them and they're like, no, I'm fine. I'm totally fine. Just leave me alone. I need to be by myself. And then you're like, all right. And then you leave them by themselves and then they get mad at you because you do exactly what they asked you to do, which is like very fucking confusing. I've never dated girls, but I've had female friends and they did that shit to me, so I can't imagine how annoying it is for guys. Then again, I'm just guessing. At the surface, everyone is trying to find Brooklyn and Kenji. The four have met up, and when the storm finally subsides, they realize that it's possible that Brooklyn and Kenji could have fallen into the ravine that Darius himself had almost fallen into minutes ago. Brooklyn and Kenji are calling out for the others, but everything's just too noisy and they're too far or whatnot. And then we get some more of the shippage. I swear, this entire episode and the next are just this.
Ow!
Are you okay?
It's nothing.
Let me see.
Okay. I'll bet.
Then there's this next part that I can totally relate to because I did this to a guy once. And he caught me doing it. Oh my God, it's so embarrassing. And then he called it out. We were in our group of friends and he called me out for it. I'm just looking at his ass as he's walking by because, dude, he was wearing them shorts. I'm sorry. He turns around. He's like, you looking at my ass? And I'm like, wait, what? Oh my God, I was so freaking embarrassed. I think I left at that point. Like when I reached the bus stop, I just went home because I was so embarrassed. So we get something similar happening here, and Kenji obviously can't tell Brooke how he feels because, honestly, for stuff like this, I realize that it usually happens when you just let it happen. Kenji may be used to talking to girls, but Brooklyn probably is a whole other caliber of person he's not had to deal with. Maybe he feels as though she's out of his league, or he's out of her league? Wait, hold on. She is out of his league. He's out of her league.
You could have these glasses for 50% off. You could have this red controller. Ooh, look how red it is.
Oh yeah, and then we get more shippage.
What is this place? Kenji.
Hey, sup?
Jesus Christ. They hear water in the walls. Yes, water in the canyons. You'd think this is normal, but not the way that they're hearing it. It almost sounds as though there's being pipes run through the canyon. They follow the sound while also Brooklyn starts to tease him for something silly he says in his nervousness, and him dying slowly inside because he realizes that every time he admits his feelings inside of himself, he gets more weird, like I do. But I don't have to worry about that anymore because I'm all wifed up. Ironically though, in my situation, my partner was the quiet, nerdy guy, and I knew he liked me, and nothing would have happened if I didn't get out of my shy zone and go and say something to him. So, while my heart was leaping out of my throat, and I was shaking like a freaking leaf, I had to be the one to go tell him that I liked him. Needless to say, he was overjoyed. And then he started chasing me, and now here we are 2 years later. Actually, technically 4, but whatever. Point of the matter is, shoot your shot, guys. You have to do it at some point, no matter how shy you are. Like in Kenji's situation, I was surprised to find out that he didn't make any moves because he was too shy, and per his words, he thought I was out of his league. Kenji probably feels this way with Brooke. And honestly, in their defense, probably not the right time to come out and say it. Hopefully the person will reciprocate.
Sorry. I was just.
Oh my God, damn, they are ham-fisting it in this episode. What the fuck? Dude, if I did not see it, I would not believe it. Man, I hate to say it, but yes, I told y'all so. While Kenji is daydreaming about Brooke while she's right in front of him talking to him and snapping him out of it, she sees a way to get out. There are holes in the wall with rocks there, like kind of blocking the way. So she asks Kenji to come up and give her a boost, which he does in an awkward way.
Come up here and give me a boost. Kenji.
Hmm?
Are you okay?
Okay, now this part, I'm sorry, whoever did this, I mean, some of the dialogue is a little bit cringe, but whoever did this part right here, I have a feeling that this person in real life actually went through this, because holy moly, did it make me uncomfortable. I was literally dying inside with laughter. And so glad I was watching this part alone, because dude.
Kenji.
Hmm?
Are you okay?
Hmm? Yeah. Yes.
Kenji.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. My dude, come on, man. Don't lose your game. What are you doing? God. Meanwhile, Ben is actually going through a hard time. He's starting to second guess himself. Like, he feels guilty for leading everyone out here, and he thinks now because of it, he's probably inadvertently killed Brooke and Kenji. But it's all okay. You can see the sort of relieved face on Ben. When Brooke and Kenji find their way out of the canyon, they're like, hey guys, we're fine. And we found water. If there's water here and somebody built pipes, then it's very possible that there's a facility nearby or someone who can help them get off this island. Later on, Ben finds some berries. While he's eating them, he second guesses himself and makes everyone spit them out. He is definitely going through a mental crisis. This is a new place for him, and he survived so long on Nublar. But because he's sort of been wrong, because the metal thing that they found was just a random sheet of metal, not actually anything of any substance that could help them, he now is second guessing himself with everything. He doesn't want any decision that he says, i.e. the berries that he'd found on Nublar, being the exact same ones that are in front of him now. He doesn't want to make a mistake or have his friends be hurt because of him. So after that ordeal, after having found the metal thing, not to mention some bones right alongside it, the group is kind of despaired. This is the most beautiful shot I have seen in this entire show so far, of the Milky Way and the desert ambience and the light and the sun, the refraction of the light in the background on the horizon, and wow, the beautiful oranges and yellows contrasting with the blues and the faint greens of the cacti. This is so freaking beautiful. This is like wallpaper right here. So beautiful. That's one thing I'll have to give to Camp Cretaceous. They really know how to make some really beautiful scenes, especially when the dinosaurs are on scene. The humans aren't really that flattering, but oh my god, the dinosaurs and the landscapes, very beautiful, especially when they're the focus. Everyone has this morbid outlook, and I like that they show this because we can relate to this so much. Sammy gets up and she starts yelling to vent out her frustration, and everyone follows along to let off some steam. They also get Ben to join in as well, who just can't let out his yell. While everyone is sleeping later on, Ben startles awake. He says he hears something. And yes, while Darius is asking him if he's sure, because, you know, he was kind of acting weird with everything else too, second guessing himself with that, Ben is almost certain. He says, I think so, but I could have sworn I heard something. Remember, this guy has survived on Isla Nublar, where there were predators roaming around. So I think that instinctive part of his brain has still kicked on where he'll wake up in a situation like this. And he was right, because out pops a mother-fricking saber-toothed tiger. Ben sacrifices himself by drawing the tiger away from his friends. He is helpless. And while the others try to catch up to him, Ben comes upon a dead end and is terrified. Look at his face! That was the worst time for the fire to go out of the leaf. Why did it go out? I have no idea. Yo, Kenji though. Kenji, my guy. Can we say how much of a risk that was? To save his friend, what if the tiger had moved at the last moment and Kenji face planted on the ground? He would have cracked his freaking spine. This is the second time, well, not really second time, but this is another time where we've seen Kenji blatantly go out of his way to save his friends, like physically put himself in danger to save his friends. He wrestles the tiger. He then tells Ben to run. One thing I do like is right here, look at this part right here. When the rocks fall down right beside the saber-toothed tiger and he goes to look at them, that is so realistic. I hate when cartoons try to portray animals looking up whenever they see something fall, because animals don't really do that. They don't really understand the concept of up. Not all of them, unless they've had the direct experience to have to do that. I remember when I got my Shiba puppy, my partner and I tried that with her. We took a ball and we kept bouncing it, and it was like magic to her. She was like, where'd the ball go? Every time we bounced the ball and it went back up in the air after the bounce, she thought it disappeared and she's just looking around the ground waiting for it to hit again. Up did not exist to her. If we drop something on the ground, the dog didn't look up to see where it came from. The dog looks directly at the ground, which is what the saber-tooth is doing. And most creatures will do this. If you drop something by your cat or your dog or even a horse, they're going to inspect the area where the thing fell. They're not going to get the concept that, ooh, something else, a third party threw it there. So let me see where they're coming from, unless something happens in their experience to warrant them having to look in that direction. Now, my puppy's really smart, and she knows exactly the concept of something falling from something. And because we played that game with her with the ball, now when something falls, I've seen her on several occasions look at the thing on the ground and then look back up in the direction to see where that came from and if she can get more. It's really fascinating the way that minds work in all animals. The tiger throws Kenji off and they all make a run for it. While they're making a run for it, they do a whole Land Before Time scene, which is like, dude, come on. This is directly out of Land Before Time. The random boulder that they found on top of the cliff and then pushing it right as the predator is coming. Oh my god, I love Land Before Time. My favorite dinosaur movies ever. I watched every single one of them, except for the TV shows. I've only watched a few of those episodes. I really gotta catch up to those ones with Ruby. Anyway, they toss rocks at the saber-toothed tiger, and Ben finds his voice. He screams at the tiger, intimidating it. This tiger to take this risk and go after them the way it did, it must be really hungry. They all cheer, but Ben's not happy. He really doesn't think very highly of himself right now, and his friends assure him, especially Sammy, that look, you being afraid and being alert is what saved us from that saber-toothed tiger. We wouldn't be alive right now if it had not been for you. He claims that when he was on Isla Nublar, he survived and he didn't want to go back to being scared Camp Ben. Darius tells him that, yeah, okay, maybe you're not fearless Isla Nublar, Ben, but you're definitely not scaredy Camp Ben anymore. Maybe you're just finally Ben.
That just makes me, Brooklyn, the smart.
Don't make it weird, Kenji! Next morning, while they're walking and Kenji's trying to cheer Brooke, he trips over a metal thing in the ground.
What a triple.
There's something metal sticking out of the ground.
Woohoo! Look at this!
Hopefully it's not that bad. When they look at the metal thing, they see that there are tracks in the ground. Unnatural tracks. Like metal chicken toe tracks. As they're following it, Kenji knocks his head into something. Good thing he wasn't going full speed ahead when he did. What in the Hunger Games is going on? They activate some sort of hidden door, and the island just got weirder. Man, that episode was fun. I love the saber-toothed tiger. One thing I was wondering, though, is why no one was kind of, weirded out about a saber-toothed tiger being on the island that they just got to from another island that had dinosaurs on it. No one seemed very shocked about seeing it or talked about it much afterwards. And I was waiting for someone to say, what is a saber-toothed tiger doing on this island? But it never came, which I found weird. But the episode was really awesome. Really a good lead-in for the next one. As they're walking in this new place, they get to another area that they unlock. I don't know how Brooke knows to unlock it, but she does. And it opens up to a totally different biome. A temperate forest biome. It almost feels like they're time traveling, and I can understand why they believe that. The copy is also with them. Seems to be following them along. I can understand why the compy would be following them, because the compy probably feels that, okay, wherever these things are, since they were on the boat and these things have food with them, if I follow them, I'll keep finding food. Compies also seem to be very social creatures, and they're also scavengers, so it makes total sense, their behavior, or this one's behavior. Don't worry, little bite, you'll probably get something to eat soon. This is a much better situation than the desert. He probably found water when he was with them too, so it is a very good bet that staying with them means survival. I was kind of scared though in the boat scene because I thought he was gonna bite them, and we know the compies bites are venomous, but he didn't. Probably like a mouse. In this situation, if he's alone, he tries to run away first and not agitate the predator. Like a mouse would run away from you. If you tried to catch it, it would still try to get away until you like try to squeeze it. And the last resort for a mouse would be biting you, unless you're actively hurting it. Oh no, Spaghetti-O, this is bad news. The group soon discovers it's a Tyrannosaurus Rex on the island as well, and it seems to be chasing after them. This is the first time we see Yaz freezing. And you're looking at her, you're like, bro, what happened to you? Clearly she's been traumatized. And I like that they start to pay attention to this because you can tell that she's going through something serious. This is one of my favorite episodes. It's where we meet May Turner. She seems surprised to see the kids, but she's very amiable. She says that she studies the T-Rexes. She's a behavioral paleoneurobiologist, and she studies dinosaur brains. That's what little device that she's using in her hand is helping her with. She says the T-Rexes are playing, and it's so awesome because you don't see this in other Jurassic Park movies. You hear about stuff like this in the Michael Crichton books, and you get more of a lowdown on dinosaur behavior in the books, but in the movies, the dinosaurs are just these things you have to avoid or observe and look at in awe from afar or protect, but you never actually see them just being regular animals. I would have loved to see Blue and her sisters play, not just a little baby video that we have, but actually see them interact in their wild setting.
Craniofacial biting. It's true.
They tell her what they've been through. She invites them back to her cave area and goes to make sandwiches for them. That's when the group looks through some of her stuff and find out that she's working for Manticore. Notice the saber-toothed tiger symbol. Manticore is basically, I guess, an alternate version of Biosyn, the opponent to InGen, the company that is responsible for bioengineering the Jurassic Park dinosaurs. This is also the company that Sammy was working for so they wouldn't blackmail her family. I understand completely why they wouldn't totally trust May. Now the kids have to try and figure out how they're gonna get out of here and kind of circumvent this girl as well. This is also around the time when Yaz starts to try and, like, on the sidelines, hook up Kenji and Brooke. See, she noticed them early on, and she was like, oh my, you two like each other. Oh my god.
I'll take that as a no.
What did I just say? They need my help. Real talk though, I really hated it when people did that. When you tell someone in confidence that you like someone and then they take it upon themselves to make things freaking weird. Me being an outcast and a nerd and being bullied did not help someone going up to the most popular boy and telling him that I liked him. How does that help? And you tell him in front of all his popular friends so they can all laugh and then he can say horrible shit about me because he's in that situation where he has to uphold his cred. Funny how those same boys would meet with me in secret though and flirt with me, but never in front of their popular friends. Probably because their popular rich bitches would cast them to the wayside. But please, do not do what she does. It's annoying. So whenever there are situations where Brooke and Kenji can go off together, Yaz tries to help make it happen. And while I appreciate her anti-cock-block methods, sometimes it makes it way too obvious. And it could end up having the opposite effect.
Maybe we'll get some answers while we're at it. So it's settled. Kenji and Brooklyn will go check it out. You and Ben should come too. We don't know what's out there.
Stop. While the group is out here, they see another metal rectangle thing. The same thing they found in the desert.
Ben! I am curious.
Poor Ben. Darius and May seems like they would get along really well. She's all about studying dinosaurs and their behavior. She's really fascinated with them. Darius and May seems like they'd actually get along very well together. They both love dinosaurs. As a matter of fact, Darius is a big fan of hers without even having known who she was. He read her book. And she's so passionate about what she does, she can't help but spilling some of the beans about what she does, even though she's technically not supposed to talk about it. Sammy thinks that the company she's working for is bad, but May doesn't think so. She says that I don't see how it could be bad. Once the research facility's up and running, we're going to be making scientific breakthroughs left and right with what they're finding. May is basically John Hammond. While they're trying to figure all that out back there in the cave, we're getting some more shippage in the forest. Yaz is trying her best to keep Ben away from the other two so they can get some time to commingle.
With your mouth open, Bumpster. But when there were no digestive issues, I figured anything could be food once.
Now, as the group is walking, a Compsognathus little bite comes out here, and he's like, yo, what's up, everybody? Where's the food at, man? Like, I've been following you guys for a whole ass hour, and I lost you at one point, but I caught you. I found you again, you little shits. Where's the food? And they're like, whoa, look at you. You followed us all the way on the island. And Little Bite's like, you just now realized that I followed y'all guys? Man, if I was much bigger, y'all already been dead. Again, though, I don't care. Food. This is a scary, very scary part of the episode, because oh boy, I feel like they took this straight out from that Love, Death, and Robots thing. this is the same robot, just an upgrade from that. Now, this could be strictly coincidence, but don't tell me that they weren't inspired by that Love, Death, and Robots episode. Or both of those creations were inspired by something else, because you have a quadrupedal robot that tries to detect harmful life forms, or life forms in general, I guess, with a green scanning light from its eyes. And then you have the scanning robot, also with 4 legs, and 1 single eye with a green scanning light as well. What do you say, coinky dinky? Anyway, this thing that these people have never seen before starts scanning the Compsognathus. It's a good thing they ducked down. I would have instinctively ducked down too, not knowing what the hell it is, especially knowing that it had been stalking us the whole time. As far as Little Bite is concerned, he's never seen something like this, and this is not a living creature. This is a robot. Compies are naturally very curious creatures. And he sees something that's like, he's like, what in the metal? Okay, are you gonna feed us? Are you gonna feed me? What really hurt me is the way he looked back at them. The way he looked back at his friends from the boat, like, y'all seeing this? This thing with us? Is this gonna give us food? I mean, y'all are still standing there, so I'm guessing you're not running away, so I guess everything's fine. Unfortunately, and this is really sad, everything is not fine. You see, this robot has identified Little Bite, our little mascot friend, as an unauthorized life form. I don't know why I said it like that.
Unauthorized life form detected.
While it puts out the alert and opens its maw, May, Darius, and Sam back at the cave research area are alerted. May is like, that's weird. I don't know what's going on there. I've never heard that before. That sizzling is the compy's flesh. It was killed. Trusted you humans and you betrayed it. I'm kidding. It's not their fault. It should have run away. But it's still very freaking sad. And I also appreciate them doing that because it shows that the stakes are high and showed this is what this thing can do. It's unfortunate that it had to happen to the compy. And you know, if the compy had belonged to one of the people, like it bonded with the humans, and it was a member of the family, I'd be bawling my eyes out. But even still, it was very, very sad. Shit scared the mess out of me when I first saw it. Anyways, May makes her way there. She calls these machines Brads. They're an acronym for something, but I forgot what it is. Since they have initiated an elimination protocol for unauthorized life forms, if this thing detects our group of friends, they could be killed just like the compy. We see the dead body of the compy lying on the ground, and May is very upset because she did not know that the people she was working for eliminated dinosaurs. She screams at the robot saying, why did you do this? We don't have any compies here on the island. Why didn't you let me study it? And Brad just replies, it was an unauthorized life form. What do you want me to do, bitch? I'm doing my job. When it scans her, it doesn't hurt her because it can tell that she is an authorized life form. She's allowed to be here.
Why would you do that?
Primary directive is to protect biome ecostasis. Unrecognized life forms pose a threat to ecostasis.
She keeps the robot at bay for now, but she's like, y'all need to explain to me what is going on. Like, tell me everything. You guys have been lying to me. They let her know back at the cave, look, everything that Manticore tried to do to Sammy's family is the reason why they don't trust her. She works for them. May lets them know that the Brads never come inside the cave. So this is basically a safe haven for them as long as they stay inside the cave. May has to cut the conversation short because now it's time to feed the T-Rexes. And she mentions that she gets to see mother-daughter eating habits. That means that the T-Rexes that we saw, the ones that she's studying, are mother and daughter, which is something that we've not seen in the Jurassic Park franchise as of yet. I love that they're adding all this new stuff. This just makes it so much dynamic, makes it so much more immersive and so much more fun. May waits in position, but then May remarks later that the Brads usually steer clear when it's feeding time. But this one Brad is hanging around the area. Darius and Sammy sneak up on her because Darius just wants to see the T-Rexes eat. I cannot blame him. He doesn't want to pass up the opportunity to watch animals in their natural habitat. And there's mommy and daughter. Also, I was wondering what the hell was going on in this scene because there's some sugar cube looking things on their food. And I'm like, are those normal? Maybe they're just vitamins or something. Meanwhile, back at the cabin or back at the cave, Yaz is at it again trying to hook up Brooklyn and Kenji. Kenji's trying to make his moves. Brooke is probably totally aware of this, but she's waiting for him to do it. So he's like, all right, let me move a little closer. And in comes the fucking cock block. So understandably, Yaz is like, yo, Ben, you want to play cards? And Ben's like, I don't really want to play cards. And then she's like, Ben, can you go to the kitchen with me to make a snack? And Ben's like, what the hell? Kenji's like, I'll make a snack with you, Yaz. And the way he says it, you know he's gonna go give her the tea. He confronts her by saying, look, dude, what is your problem? And she's like, I know you like Brooke. And he's like, no, I don't.
You totally have a crush on Brooklyn.
No, I don't. Okay, fine. But even if I do, you're being super weird. She's gonna know something's up.
Go make your move, stud.
Oh my freaking God, stop. Stop! God! Oh, tone it all the way down. I do appreciate Yaz for this though, as long as she's being discreet about it. Kenji lets her know, look, when I'm ready, I'll do whatever. Let me do it. But just stop. Correct yourself. Relax. As they're heading back to rejoin the others, Ben and Brooklyn, the cave door opens, but it's not May Turner. Who could it be?
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Do you have time to talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?
Everyone hides from the robot and initially gets away with this. And you guys seriously have to watch this episode because Mommy T-Rex feeds little T-Rex who is on the right. I think the little T-Rex is her daughter.
Take me into your fucking home!
T-Rexes are eating, it really does look sweet. It's a really sweet moment and I love watching it. How they share with each other, how they nuzzle each other, how they play with each other. This fills me with so much joy. Aw, she wants to play with her mom.
Fuck you, mommy!
Whoa, okay. That does not look like it's playtime. The T-Rexes all start fighting and like tearing each other apart. The one thing May Turner notices is that the pain receptors on both T-Rexes are blacked out. Like they can't feel pain and their aggression is super high. May is actually saddened by this and is at a complete loss as to what's going on. Back at the cave, Yaz and Ben are hiding under the table and suddenly the robot catches them. It goes into kill mode. However, Kenji saves the day by chopping its head off. That's right, Boston Dynamics. No more karaoke for you. While the T-Rexes keep tearing each other to shreds, May calls one of the May calls one of the Brads to come and put them to sleep. While they're sleeping, she goes to assess the damage and they're hurt very badly. When you can't feel pain, you're gonna end up hurting yourself way worse. Sammy picks up one of those cube things that I pointed to earlier and asks whether or not those things are supposed to be in their food. And we all know what the answer to that is. And just like I called it, sometimes I think these people who make these things are watching our fan videos. Because the first thing I thought of with Jurassic World Dominion was they were gonna Pokemon that up. That's the only other place the franchise would go. People buying up these creatures to pit them in fights. Brooke is praising Kenji, who saved the day. And Yaz gets very weird. She just loves seeing them together. However, Ben starts to notice something weird about all of his behavior.
Perfect.
Hey, guys. Could you give me and Yaz a second?
Sure.
Now, this is where things get freaking weird. And honestly, I give Ben a lot of respect. Because Ben ain't no simp. Ben lets Yaz know that, listen, girl, here's the deal. Because I've noticed you've been pulling me away a lot. He doesn't actually say this, but he says it. Sort of, with his eyes. And then what he says later. And I have noticed. And I don't want to make it weird, but you're making it weird, so...
You're a great girl, and I like you. I just don't like you.
What?
Don't be upset. It's just that I'm just now starting to find myself, and I gotta work on me before I can think about someone else.
Ben?
Yes, Ben! Go, Ben! What? So, cause everyone is there eavesdropping over there, like mad obvious with, you know, femme fatale Pinky over there and brave boy Blue over there. She has to put on a brave face because she cannot explain away why she's been acting like that without giving up that she's trying to hook her friends up. So she's just like,
I totally understand.
And then he pats her on the shoulder and...
Like a boss. Oh, yes, I keep.
May Darius and Sammy return. Guess the robots can go inside the cave, and they let her know that it was scanning everything. May is starting to realize that things are not what she thought. After all, she hasn't been here that long. It was only a matter of time before she found out. We're also now introduced to a random fidget spinner character. Like, you can tell when this was made. This Toy Story, like, villain, Sid the Kid type person is upset and breaks his screen because he thinks the dinosaurs killed one of his Brads. We know that he is now the programmer, the person who created them. So he's going there himself to get to the bottom of this. Another thing I want to point out before we start to review episode 4 is that the T-Rexes, the mother and daughter, were from Isla Sorna. Now, do I think it's the T-Rex from the second movie and her child? I think the baby was a male, but who's to say that Mama and Papa T-Rex from Jurassic Park The Lost World didn't have more babies after Junior? Honestly, it would make the next snapping incident with Junior a little bit easier to swallow. We get a little bit more character development on Yaz. While she's out there looking for Walnut, she finds her notebook. And then all of a sudden, the Indominus Rex comes out of nowhere. Then the Carnotaurus and Ceratosaurus. Then the freaking Scorpius Rex. And her nightmare is being eaten by all of these dinosaurs. I can imagine how horrible that would be, but I'm the kind of person that would wake up from a dream like that and just have this look and be like, that was freaking awesome. May is concerned for Yaz. Yaz has been suffering from these nightmares. She's been freezing in place whenever there's danger. Clearly, it seems as though she is suffering from post-traumatic stress. Everyone else is able to sleep peacefully except for her. She always wakes up in a sweat or in a fright from her nightmares. Meanwhile, May has been studying that cube object. When she tests it,
after careful analysis of the nutriment samples, I've discovered alarmingly high levels of receptor antagonists as well as adrenal additives. It
was way easier having her explain that. She breaks it down for them later though, saying that whoever is feeding the T-Rexes is adding stuff to make them more aggressive and inhibiting their ability to feel pain, which obviously means they want the dinosaurs to fight, possibly to the death. Darius asks her why they would do that, and she doesn't know, but I do. They try to come up with a plan to get off the island. You see, there's a supply plane that comes in 10 days, and there's no way to call in or off the island, which is honestly, you know, I get it, but very dangerous for a work environment. Like, what happens to you if something bad happens? Hope there are good doctors and surgeons on board. Yaz says for this part of the plan, she wants to be as far away from dinosaurs as possible. And everyone's like, yeah, but you run the fastest, dude, so if they start chasing you, you're good. And she's like, nah, I'm done with dinosaurs for a little bit. No one has any idea that she has post-traumatic stress with the dinosaurs, and being how she always freezes up when she's around them, it's probably a good idea that she does not stay anywhere close to dinosaurs if she can help it. They cook up the plan, which is to get rid of the stuff in the T-Rex's food. By the way, Kenji's also getting sick. He keeps lying about it and telling Brooklyn he's not sick because she doesn't want to get sick. She kind of keeps away from him when she knows that he is, and he can't have that, so. For their plan to also work, the T-Rexes must remain sleeping. May and the others are there to monitor that and to let the others know. But Kenji coughing wakes the T-Rexes up. It's involuntary as he's a tickle in his throat. You couldn't muffle? Like, you have a shirt. You have a very thick shirt. Muffle! Unfortunately and fortunately, the T-Rexes are hurt. But they seem to be themselves again, so they're not trying to hurt each other. Now, this part is what really floored me. Yaz and Darius were able to successfully break the feeding thing for the T-Rexes, and their logic is if something is broken, the supply plane's gonna come back and try to fix it. That is with the expectation that there are no spare parts on the island. I don't know. The T-Rex runs towards them, maybe heading to the food area because she's hungry. This part is done so well, because you always wonder, like, okay, these people, why are they freezing? And Yaz never had this problem before. And now seeing her fight this, seeing the tears spill in her eyes as she's punching her legs, trying to get herself to move, you really don't understand. Like, I'm not the kind of person who freezes in place. Thank goodness. I'm the kind of person that under very high stressful situations, I think very, very scarily clearly and act more quickly than I would regularly. But apparently not everybody is like that. And I always wonder to myself, what is the evolutionary benefit of that? Is it just some bug in someone's brain that happens and then natural selection takes over and they get eaten? Is that nature's way of balancing out the gene pool or population control? Because it just doesn't make sense to me. It wouldn't make sense why you would just stand there and your body would just shut down on you. Like, there's no, that's a hiccup right there. That's a freaking glitch. But clearly, Yaz is going through something traumatic. And now when she's in actual danger, you can hear the fear in her voice. Like, this was so well done. Look at the expression in her face as the T-Rex is coming towards her while her friends have left.
Yes? Move it!
It's almost like she was in a sleepwalk state where she knew what was happening to her, but what was happening to her is kind of like what those people describe when they wake up and they're paralyzed. Like, she's literally paralyzed in this situation and cannot move. The T-Rex is not happy that it's not being fed. Well, their plan works. All of a sudden, the plane is going to come sooner like they wanted. It's going to be coming here in 3 hours instead of 10 days because it's going to come with new food and parts. I'm guessing the plane is very close by, probably at Isla Nublar, where people can just be like, you know what? Oh, let me just fuel up and hop in in and go over. It's only like a freaking 10-minute ride. But as they're all celebrating, the robot finds them. Dr. May tries to stop it. These things have no reasoning. They are programmed for a specific purpose, and if something is unauthorized to be there, it's unauthorized to be there. It's not its fault. It has a take it up with the manager attitude. They dodge the extinction rays, and more robots come after them. These robots are hell-bent on killing everyone that does not belong there. This is a haunting scene. It's so freaking awesome. Brooke has an idea. She's going to roast the controls, and of course, every idea that they come up with on the spot will work. It is what it is. It's one of these stories. You just gotta go with it. She tells everyone to get out, and her plan is to stand in front of this little module here that she's hoping the robots will shoot at, and hopefully she'll get out the way in time. It works, and they fry the controls, and they're locked behind the door. Now they're in a snow biome. How are these people doing this? This is what's most interesting to me. Sammy is amazed because she's never seen snow before, and then her friends remind her that it's manticore snow, and she spits out the snow she was trying to catch in her tongue. At that moment, I'm like, let the girl enjoy. This is her first experience with snow. You couldn't just let her have that. You had to say it was manticore snow. Who cares if it's manticore snow? But Altiori, what if they put toxic stuff inside the snow? Good point. They go in the ice ski tractor mobile things, and Kenji tries to stay warm. As Darius put it, they would not have made it out there in that snowy area. Yaz is having all these waking nightmares, and she's probably drifting off constantly because she hasn't gotten any sleep. How can she sleep when every time she goes to sleep, all she can think about are horrible things happening to her via the jaws of dinosaurs? On their way through the biome, they see Kentrosaurus named Pierce, who is not supposed to be out here. May is so confused, and this dinosaur is going into shock. They cook up an idea, and Darius says, look, we're not splitting up. We're gonna help you get this dinosaur to safety because there's no way you can do it with just one vehicle. So they come up with a plan to drag the Kentrosaurus on the back of the vehicles and outside of the biome. It's a very pretty shot, by the way. What's very interesting is that when you look at Pierce's mouth, they have a lot of attention to detail. Usually the inside of his mouth is nice and pink, but you can see his tongue and that little membrane in between his jaws are blue, indicating that the dinosaur is very cold and is literally freezing to death. And while this is sad, I'm also very happy and very pleased that they paid this much attention to detail. They drag the dinosaur on the back, and all seems to be doing well until they find out that one of the robots is after them and is here. It follows alongside the vehicles, and Yaz is able to save the day by opening the door and causing it to fall down to the frozen lake, the one that the group would have fallen into had they waited any longer. Now that they put the dinosaur back in one of those areas where they go from biome to biome and it's very warm in there, you can already see the color coming back to his mouth. Notice how his mouth looks a lot more pink than it did before. Very good attention to detail. Also, I don't know why his eyes are that color. It almost looks like he's blind. They have to hurry up and see if they can make it for the plane. May quickly tells Yaz that, look, I don't know what's going on with you, but remember your friends are there to help you, girl. Talk to them. Everybody runs for the plane. They're right on time. Unfortunately, the plane just left. They try hailing it, but that plane can't see them. It's not expecting 6 kids to be there. Plus, they were supposed to get on there discreetly. Seeing everyone's frustration, like, you forget that these are animated characters.
Dang it.
Darius tries to encourage them by saying, look, I know this is what we wanted, guys, but we did the right thing, right? Bitch, nobody wants to hear that. Darius, time and place. This is where Yaz actually breaks down and does tell her friends. And man, they did such a good job with this because you really believe her. It is so sad. And like, I'm not somebody to break down easily for human characters unless you make them relatable. But I was actually crying. Like, tears were flowing down my face watching the scene of Yaz just unload herself about how she really feels.
Still being hunted by robots now, like dinosaurs weren't enough.
I'm just tired. And I miss my mom.
That is the most real that we've seen from her and from the show, and really made me feel horrible. Poor Yaz. You can imagine how alone she feels and how horrible she feels. Every day, they come a little closer to getting where they need to go, and then something happens. Now, I know if it were me, I probably would save the dinosaur too. It's like me seeing a little puppy dog on the side of the road. If I miss my time to go home, I wouldn't feel bad about saving the puppy. But realistically, not everyone's gonna feel that way or be that way. And Yaz is not about that life. Before the episode ends, we see that weird character who created the Brads. The robot comes up behind him and says, "Unauthorized life form detected." He raises his hand and a ring activates on his hand. He yells at it saying, "You're idiot, it's me, duh." Here we see whoever the hell this is. The robot carries his luggage because, you know, he designed them to carry his bags.
Do I look like an unauthorized life form?
Negative.
Then take this! I didn't build you so I could carry my own bag.
He asked the robot how long was it before the pincushion dinosaur, aka the Kentrosaurus, died in the Arctic. The robot says, "Yeah, I don't know, dude. Just disappeared." The robot basically tells him, "Look, I can't monitor it because the robot that you put up there went offline, dude." This guy is beside himself, and he's like, are you telling me another one of my freaking machines were killed?" He is livid and looks like someone you probably don't want to mess with. Check out that tat. He screams in frustration and a dinosaur responds. And I think the reason why they do this is to make that dinosaur's roar synonymous with the anger of this guy, which tells us that he's probably gonna be an upside down Iron Man, or somebody he uses his tech for bad. This episode was crazy. Those last episodes were amazing. I am absolutely loving Camp Cretaceous. I think they did a phenomenal job, and dare I say it, I don't say this about a lot of shows, but I am actually really surprised that every season that comes after is better than the last. If you have not watched Camp Cretaceous yet, and you love dinosaurs, or love Jurassic Park, and you thought, like me initially, that Camp Cretaceous was gonna be too kiddie or childish for you, trust me, it's not. Yeah, there's some elements that are a bit more tame, but trust me, I think you'll enjoy it if you give it a chance. You just have to get through the first episode. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Ultiori. You ask, we answer.